School holidays are in and the family's out and about, and what better way to get around than in the Mazda CX-8 GT SP all-wheel drive? Because this is a 7-seater SUV, so you can fit the kids and the gear. It competes against other large SUVs like the Kia Sorento, Hyundai Santa Fe and the Toyota Kluger. So what makes it stand out? Stay watching to find out. The GT SP all-wheel drive is one of the premium models, and it sits third from the top, which means that it's going to cost you just over $65,000 before on-road costs. That price tag does place it as the most expensive compared to the rivals, but you get a really stylish package plus lots of features for your cash. Some of those features include 19-inch alloy wheels, heated front seats, heated outboard rear seats, plus a sunroof and premium leather interior, just to name a few. The full specs are in my written review at carsguide.com.au if you want more info. Let's talk practicality. This front seat is very spacious and I love the individual storage options as well. The burgundy leather looks really premium and feels quite nice. It's not super cushy, but still quite comfortable. Both front seats are electric and are heated. However, only the driver's side has lumbar support, which is a bit of a shame at this level. I really like from the driving position how all the buttons and dials are within easy reach. But I did miss having a central locking button in here. It feels very old school to be sliding across a latch. The dashboard is now headlined by a 10.25-inch touchscreen multimedia system. The graphics are really clear and it's great having a bigger size. But switching between touchscreen and the rotary dial usage is a bit awkward for me, especially since the touchscreen is disabled when you're using the wireless Apple CarPlay. This also has wired Android Auto though for those users too. I really liked having a head-up display this week and the charging options. You get a wireless charging pad and 2 USB-C ports up front. The back seat feels very well padded, but there's not heaps of under-thigh support. It's quite shallow back here. However, heaps of room. Taller passengers will be very happy. I really like the practical features back here, like the darker headliner, easy to clean backs of the seats, climate control, directional air vents, retractable sun blinds, and heated seats on the outboard seats. Individual storage is average for this size car, but I do like this cute utility tray in the fold-down armrest. Charging options are good with 2 USB-A ports. Families will be pretty happy too because there are 5 top tether child seat points and ISOFIX child seat mounts on these outboard seats, meaning you should be able to fit 5 child seats pretty easily in here. There's also plenty of room for front passengers when a 0 to 4 rearward facing child seat is installed too. Because of the 205mm ground clearance, my 6-year-old found this very easy to get in and out of. Plus the tall seating position meant that he had a great view this week. The third row is actually not that bad, and I do have enough room for my 168cm height, but I wouldn't want to be back here if I was super tall. The amenities are also a little bit basic, but you do get 2 USB-A ports, which are always handy. I would still consider these as sometime seats for adults though, because it is a little bit annoying to get back here. Plus, I would feel claustrophobic if I was on a long road trip because there's no directional air vents back here. So you have the seats, but do you have the space for all the gear? With all 3 rows in use, you get 209 litres of capacity. So you might be able to fit the kids, but if you're going on a road trip, might be a bit hard to fit the gear. However, if you pop that 3rd row down, it jumps up to a very respectable 775 litres, which is perfect for the average family and their stuff. I really like how the boot's been designed actually, with all the underfloor storage. So it's a level loading space, but there's 3 hidden compartments, which I think is pretty handy if you want to tuck away any valuables while you're on a road trip. Underneath all of that is the temporary spare wheel, and it's been super handy this week having a power tailgate. There are 2 engines available for this model, a petrol or our model's 2.2 litre 4-cylinder turbo diesel engine. This has a max power output of 140 kilowatts plus 450 newton meters of torque. So it's got the grunt to keep you happily cruising on the open road. This is an all-wheel drive, and despite the 6-speed auto transmission, you get a pretty settled driving experience. Like I said, this is a very settled driving experience and I feel firmly placed on the road. I love the power in this. You've got enough under the bonnet to get you up to speed or overtake quite easily, but I did do a mountain in this and it handled itself like a much smaller car. I did not feel the size of this when I was tackling it, which was great. The suspension is quite firm, but I think backseat passengers will feel that more than what you do up front. The cabin is nice and quiet, but I did find that I had a little bit of ear pressure this week when I hit higher terrain, because it almost feels like you're in a vacuum. I reckon this is a pretty easy SUV to park, but I have to admit I did miss having a 360-degree view camera this week. The reversing camera is pretty clear, but the camera image is actually quite small. Still, with an 11.6 meter turning circle, it's not too bad in a tight car park. So it's nice to drive, but what about efficiency? Well, the official combined fuel cycle is 6 litres per 100 kilometres. Real world testing got my figure to 7.1 litres, which I thought was really, really good. But I did do quite a lot of open road driving this week, so I would expect that figure to be higher in an urban setting. This is efficient, but what I like most about it is the driving range. So based off the official combined fuel cycle, you should see a driving range of roughly 1,233 kilometres, which is really great for families who do lots of travel. Safety is always important, but more so on a family car. And I'm happy to say that this has all the usual specs, but that the AEB is operational from as little as 4 kilometers per hour. This has been awarded a maximum 5-star ANCAP safety rating, but it was done ages ago in 2018. And it also only has 6 airbags, which I think is a bit low for a family car, but the curtain airbags do cover all 3 rows. The full safety specs are in the detailed written review at carsguide.com.au. Ongoing costs are reasonable, with this coming with a 5-year unlimited kilometre warranty and a 5-year servicing plan. Services average $488 per service, which is pretty competitive for the class. However, servicing intervals aren't as great as its petrol siblings, because it's serviced every 12 months or 10,000 kilometres, whichever occurs first. So what did my family think about the Mazda CX-8 GT SP all-wheel drive? I love how it drives. For a large SUV, it's very easy to handle. I also like the family-friendly features that are scattered throughout and the practicality of those extra 2 seats and 2 top tether points. The multimedia system, not my favourite, and I would have liked to have seen some extra airbags and a 360-degree view camera, but overall, this is a pretty solid family car, so it gets an 8 out of 10 from me. My son loved the sunroof and his tall seating position, and he also gives it an 8 out of 10. If you're after more details, check out the full review at carsguide.com.au, and I'll see you next week.